Hi there, everyone. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where father and son get together and talk about fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things that we enjoy. You have stumbled upon a Book Blast episode, which means we're here to talk about, in a spoiler-lite, no plot ruining format, reactions to a book that we've read. This is one that Zach read recently. I've read a while farther back. The first book of Joe Abercrombie's First Law initial trilogy, The Blade Itself. If you enjoy this, be sure to like it down below. Help that almighty YouTube algorithm spread the goodness of us, and we hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Comments down below, we love them. We always respond. Zach, The Blade Itself. What did you think?
Let's start with a quick disclaimer. This is Grimdark. If that is not your genre of fantasy, don't read it.
It's abruptly, more harshly different than a lot of other fantasy.
There is visceral violence, language, torture, and these are main plot points, not just elements to the story.
There are
aware of what you're getting into.
So many triggers. If you're worried about triggers, stay away from Grimdark, period.
Or make sure you are up to date on which triggers are where and what you're okay with. That being said, I enjoyed the book. It feels weird to say this.
It's dark, it's gross, it's violent. Oh, it was good.
I'm finding I do like some of the gritty, horrible things in my books sometimes because they're not fun, but they're fun.
Yeah, Joe Abercrombie, he refers to himself as Lord Grimdark.
Ironically, but also kind of not.
He's got the element in his books, though, that some describe Grimdark as having of no good deed goes unpunished.
Don't worry, no bad deeds goes unpunished either. Most deeds just go punished.
If something bad can happen to you, it probably will.
That being said, this first book feels incomplete. You get a taste of some interesting characters, very complex motives, get a picture of a world that's pretty cool, but it all just is like a taste and a beginning to things.
That's true.
And it's a lot of different story elements, and a lot does happen, but the entire book feels like it's building towards a series. So if you're just wanting to read a book and be like, yeah, I'm done, this isn't it, because you're going to need to read later books for this one to matter at all.
This is a great example of the joy of finding things once they're already more written out. I would have hated this book if I read it when it was brand new and there was nothing to go on to. I'm like, really? That's it? I gotta wait? That would have sucked.
If there was legitimately not a second book when I read the first one, it would have taken me significantly longer after the second book came out to read it, because there are other things to read, and this one would have just been like, well, the first one didn't really go enough places yet, so I don't know if I want to do the second.
That said, the start of this book is one of the best beginnings of a fantasy book in the way it just grabs you in with the introduction to Logan Ninefingers.
It's pretty instant. We get some very quick looks at who characters are, why we should care about them. And that is a thing that I need to specify here. I said we didn't care as much about the story and it doesn't go too many places. It develops characters, though, very well. We care about the characters within the first couple chapters and just continue to care about them more, or sometimes despise them more.
I'm like, and yet, should we care about them? Yeah, sometimes
a bit of both.
Again, it does. It introduces a lot of things. We get introduced to Wizard Baez, different sort of character. Very interesting introduction because you don't realize who you're meeting or what this person is really about at first.
What do you mean? He's the first of the Magi. He's big.
But what all that truly means, it's hard to see. It's hard to understand. And then, oh my goodness, the introduction to Glokta. What an introduction. Him waking up.
Poor guy.
Oh, you instantly feel bad for this guy, and yet a little later you're not sure you feel so bad for him.
You can be like, this guy's existence is piteous. That doesn't necessarily mean I feel bad for him exactly.
But Joe Abercrombie's writing puts you into how people feel, what their experiences are, really well, so that you can write about cruddy, crappy people in sympathetic ways, which is interesting.
Yeah. No, just in terms of how it is written, quick comp here. George R.R. Martin writes very grimdark with A Song of Ice and Fire, but I get more depth and caring about the characters here in the First Law Trilogy.
I don't think that's an errant saying. I think I would agree with you. All right, so this really it introduces First Law, this world. It introduces a lot of things, but it clearly leaves you off with, all right, come back for the next book because now we're going to actually do stuff. It's not like nothing happens in this book.
No, but this book is the title page for the series. You're shown what is this actually going to look like. Dare you go further?
Dare
Yes.
you go further? We dared. We dared. So come back later. We'll give you another episode on the rest, more books in First Law. But I think that's a good place to leave them here today. What do you think, Zach? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm
All
good to
right.
move on.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.